come to the front of your mat and put your big toes together, your heels slightly apart. And bring your hands to heart center. In this pose we call it mountain pose. Keep your pelvis tucked, your booty nice and tight, shoulders back and down, and your head, crown of your head reaching toward the sky. Just take a few breaths here to ground yourself. You may find that if you close your eyes in this pose, it's actually hard to balance and you'll start to wobble a little bit. That's totally fine and completely normal. Open your eyes, and on the inhale, raise your arms up all the way to the top of your head. From here, I want you to take your right hand and grab your left wrist and pull your body to the right side. Keeping your chest nice and open. Keep that left shoulder peeled back. Don't let it round over like this. We're trying to stretch the whole left side of our bodies here. Look up to the sky. If that's the right place for your neck to go, you want to make sure you keep your spine nice and elongated in a straight line. No twists or twerks in there. And on the inhale, exhale, come back to neutral. Switch sides. Grab the left, take the left hand, grab the right wrist, and pull your body to the right side. Keep your pelvis tucked and your booty nice and tight. Your knees should be pulling up towards your thighs and pressing all four corners of your feet into the floor. Looking up, nice deep breaths through the nose. Inhale. And on the last exhale, come back to neutral and bring the hands all the way down, back into namaste. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, take that first swan dive down to the floor slowly. When you come down, you just let your head fall nicely with gravity. If you need to bend your knees, that's completely fine. Our bodies are not warmed up yet. So just let your body fall. I want you to just shimmy your feet out to about hips width apart. Put a nice bend in your knees, interlock your elbows, and just let your body hang down. Again, we're just going to use gravity to give us a nice, easy stretch in the back of our legs. You want to put your forearms behind your head. You'll get a deeper stretch in the back of your neck, which can feel really nice. And just rock back and forth here. Very good. And from here, place your hands on the ground. I want you to take your wrists. If you have to bend your knees in this position, it's totally fine. I want you to take your wrists and turn them the opposite direction. This is a really nice way to balance the flow. We spend a lot of time at our typewriters. Did I just say typewriters? I meant computers. It's not 1989. Okay, so we spend a lot of time at our laptops and our computers. And it's good to stretch your wrists out in this way to reverse the energy flow that's constantly going through there. So from here, I just want you to pull back until you feel a nice stretch coming up the front of your wrists. Nothing too forceful, but just really stretch that out and reverse the flow of what we do every day. And then I want you to turn your wrists so that the tops of your hands are on the floor. And again, pull forward so you feel this stretch on the opposite, on the outside of your wrists. Good. And then place your hands on the ground. Shimmy your feet back together. And I want you to inhale, look up. Exhale, forward fold. And then step back into a plank position. In this plank, you're going to find yourself here a lot before we do a chaturanga. Whenever you come down into chaturanga, I want you to be sure to keep your elbows in. This isn't a push-up. We're not doing a push-up with your elbows out like this. This is a slow moving down chaturanga where your elbows are in to your rib cage, nice and tight. Your body is one tight line here. So come down into chaturanga. Inhale all the way up into up dog. Shoulders back and down. And push back into down dog. Beautiful. From here, walk your dog out a little bit. Stretch out the backs of your legs, pushing back, especially focusing on the base of your index finger there to keep your hands from rolling out to the sides. Push back into your down dog. Feel that stretch all the way up the sides of your arms, down the backs of your legs. And then crouch like a tiger. And you can step or jump forward, feet between your hands. Inhale, look up. Exhale, look down. And then slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time, all the way up to standing. We're really building some heat in the body doing this. Sun salutations. Move every muscle and joint in your whole body. So doing these every day, coming to this yoga class once a week, and then just moving through sun salutations on a daily basis, even if you just do it 3-4 times a week for even 5 to 10 minutes, it's going to move every muscle and joint in your whole body. Very therapeutic for the body. And inhale, up. Exhale, forward fold, swan dive down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Take your right foot and place it back into a lunge. Right knee touches the floor. Come all the way up. Hands touch and all the way back down. Left foot meets the right. And from here, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Now the right foot comes between the hands. Lower the left leg to the ground. Hands come up. Really try to scrape the walls on your way up and down. Find that lunge, and left foot comes to meet the right. Forward fold. Inhale all the way up. You can roll it up one vertebrae at a time, but if you're ready, you can come up with a flat back. Hands back into namaste. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, look down. Left side, left foot comes back into that lunge. Left knee on the ground. Hands scrape the walls all the way up. And come all the way down. Right foot meets the left. Come down into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot comes between the hands. Right knee touches the floor. Tops of the right foot on the floor. Inhale all the way up. Oops. And exhale all the way down. It's totally fine to lose your balance once in a while. And right foot meets the left. Forward fold. From here, I want you to shimmy your feet out even farther on the outsides of your mat. Bend your knees. Just let your knees soften. And again, hang down in between. Letting gravity pull you down. And place your hands on the ground and slowly walk out to the left side as far as you can. Reaching out to the front as much as you're reaching out to the left. Again, stretching the whole right side of your body. Lifting up the knees. If you're warm enough, you can keep the knees straight and your legs straight. If you're doing that, then I want you to engage your whole lower body, lifting up through the knees. If you're still softened in the knees because you're not warm enough, that's totally fine. And walk your hands around to the right side. Feeling that stretch all the way down the left side of the body. Reaching out in front of you as well as out to the right. And then bring your hands back to center. And then I want you to straighten your back. Switch back a little bit so you can see me better. Right hand comes facing the left side and twist. Looking up to the sky, twisting your spine. And look back down to the floor. Switch. Your left hand is on the ground now, facing the right side, and you're reaching up to the sky. You always want to make sure your gaze is just going in the direction where your spine is going. So like if I'm twisting this way, I don't want to put my head down here because then I'm twisting my spine this way, bringing it out to the right, but then at the top of my spine, I'm twisting it back to the left. So really try to keep your spine aligned no matter what position you're in. And one last deep inhale, open the chest, and back to center. All right, very good. Now just bend your knees, hop to the center, straighten your legs, inhale up, exhale, forward fold. And inhale, flat back all the way up, hands back into namaste. Beautiful. Inhale, hands up and around, and exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, look up, exhale, forward fold. This time, both feet back into plank position. Lower down slowly to chaturanga, elbows in. Inhale, up dog, and exhale down. Raise your right leg to the sky, keeping your hips nice and square. Feeling the stretch through the back of your left leg. Really focus on getting all four corners of both hands pressing into the mat and four corners of the left foot pressing into the mat. Then open up the hip nice and wide, face your pelvis to the side wall. Flex your foot, point your foot, and roll your foot around. Beautiful. Now bring your hips square again, and your right foot comes between your hands. Your left hand on the mat, and your right hand comes up for a twist. When you're in this twist, keep your hips nice and square. Try not to keep them uneven, raising your right. I don't want you to twist at the expense of raising your right hip. So keep your hips nice and square and just twist as far as you can go with that right hip down and square to the left. Very good. Bring your right hand down. Square off your back foot so that it's flat onto the mat and perpendicular to your right foot. And cartwheel up into warrior two. Great. In warrior two, think more about pressing all four corners of your feet into the floor than getting that perfect right angle position. I don't really care so much about that perfect right angle. Stay in warrior two. I'm just going to lower the volume because my computer keeps dinging. All right, so into warrior two. Your arms are out. There's energy coming through your arms, right? Your arms are not just flopping here. I want lots of energy coming out through your arms. Energy, like you could see it just coming out through your fingertips, through the front and the back. Look to your back and make sure that your left hand is aligned over your left foot. I know your right thigh is burning here, so we're going to cartwheel down all the way back into plank position and down into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Beautiful, guys. Lift your left leg up to the sky. Hips nice and square. Feeling that stretch to the back of your right leg. Pressing the right heel into the ground and pressing out through that one-legged down dog through the fronts of through the hands that are on the mat, especially through the index fingers. And then open the hip to the side wall and get that stretch through your pelvis, your hip flexors. You can move your foot around, arch it, roll it, point it, and then square off those hips again and bring that left foot between your hands. Beautiful. Find that lunge and then take the twist. Again, your left hip is staying nice and low and square to the right one. Feel the energy coming out of your fingertips. Don't relax your fingertips. I want energy coming out of all of your limbs. Inhale, exhale. And then lower the left hand down to the mat. Flatten the back foot to the mat, and come up into warrior two. Magnetizing. Feel like there's actually a magnet between your left heel and the center back of your right foot, and they're pulling together. If you can get that sensation, you'll feel your entire legs automatically engage. Tuck the pelvis, engage the core, shoulders back and down, head is nice and tall, and lots of energy coming out of the hands. It's a pose, we're holding a pose. Asana means pose. So every time we get ourselves into an asana, we're in a pose, but they're very dynamic and they're fluid. There's a lot of movement and energy moving through these poses. They're not still. So always think about that. Think about lengthening through the knee, pushing back through the back leg, arms going out a little bit wider, shoulders back and down a little bit more, and cartwheel all the way down into plank pose, down into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Good. You should start to feel some heat building in your body at this point. Roll over to your left side into plank position. If you can't come into this position with your balance and your legs, your feet stacked, you can stagger them side to side. You can put one knee on the ground. Any of these options is completely great. You're working your obliques here. Keep your chest nice and open. Squeezing your butt and raising the left hip up to the sky. Pushing the right hip up with the left foot, with the left hip. And one more inhale. Exhale all the way down. Back into plank. Let's just hold this plank for a moment. Booty down. We don't want our booties on display. We don't want to pike. Keep that booty nice and low in that plank position. I want to see your shoulders up by your ears. Pull them down. Push out of those shoulder sockets. And then roll to the left side. As I said, you can stack your feet. You can stagger your feet. You can put one knee on the ground. Beautiful. Working our oblique muscles, our full core, just a full body strengthening exercise. Inhale. And on the exhale, bring the left hand down and slowly down into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And back into down dog. When you're in down dog, really focus on pushing out through all four corners of the feet. I don't want your feet to be rolling open. I don't want your hands to be rolling open like this. Usually a tendency to roll open your hands in down dog. I don't want your back to be arched like this. We don't want arched backs. We want pelvis is tucked in down dog. And rolling the shoulders open away from the neck. Good. And from here, crouch like a tiger and step or jump forward in between your hands. Inhale, look up, exhale, look down. From here, I want you to bend your knees and come into a chair pose, like you're just sitting in an invisible chair. Raise your arms up above you. Take a few breaths here. You're reaching out through your hands, but you're keeping your shoulders down. Easy to reach out through your hands and bring your shoulders with you, but try to keep your shoulders where they are, but still have that energy coming up. And all the way up, inhale. And exhale back into namaste. Beautiful, guys. I know we're getting some leg burning happening here. It's all good. Okay, back into namaste. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up. And exhale, step back to chaturanga. Lower down. Inhale, up dog. Really hit that pose. I don't want you just moving through it quickly. I want you to find a moment where you really hit it. Right leg comes up. Inhale all the way up. And exhale. Your foot comes between your hands. Warrior one. Put your left foot flat on the floor, like we had earlier in Warrior two. And then come up into Warrior one. This pose is a lunge, but instead of a regular lunge where you have your foot like this, you have your foot flat on the floor. It's going to be very normal to feel that your foot is rolling up from the outside and that you can't get the whole thing on the floor. That's totally fine. As much as you can, try to push the outside of your left foot onto the floor. And one last inhale, keeping the hips as square as you can. And come back into warrior two. Lots of energy flowing through all the limbs. Turn the right hand over and reach it over your right ear into peaceful warrior. Very good. And cartwheel all the way down, back into plank. Lower down into chaturanga. Inhale up dog. Exhale down dog. If you are new to yoga, if I'm going a little bit fast for you, don't worry. Like, just try to keep up the best you can. It can take some time to get used to these flows and used to these poses. But as long as you're moving through them the best that you can, you are making progress, and you are going to be sore tomorrow, and you're going to like it. You're going to like the soreness that you feel. Left leg all the way to the sky. Left hand between. Put that right foot perpendicular to your left and come up into warrior one. Trying your best to keep those hips nice and square. It's a different kind of pose in warrior one. Your hips just naturally want to take the path of least resistance and open up because that's where they're naturally comfortable. But try to really force this stretch in your hip flexor here and give it that unusual movement that it's not used to. Pressing the back of your foot into the ground, reaching up as high as you can. One last bend, an inch deeper than you are. Inhale and exhale into warrior two. Might have to shimmy your feet a little bit. Really try to make sure that you're perpendicular here and that the front heel is aligned with the center of the back foot. One straight line. Try to stay on that balance beam. Arms out to the side. Take a couple breaths in warrior two. Feel the burn in that left leg. Don't be afraid of it. The burning is good. Turn your left hand over and reach over your head into peaceful warrior. Don't you feel peaceful in this pose? So peaceful. Stretching out, feel that long line of energy reaching out behind you. And cartwheel all the way down, back into plank. Chaturanga, inhale up dog, exhale down dog. Beautiful, guys. I know you guys are feeling a lot of burn today, it's good. And crouch, jump between your hands, inhale up dog, exhale down dog. Let's go to that chair pose again. Inhale, arms over your head, close to your ears as you can get them, really engaging your scapula muscles, your upper back. And from here, I don't want you to go to standing namaste. I just want you to dive right back down into forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up dog. Inhale up. Exhale, step back into plank. Lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot comes out. Right foot comes between the hands. Flatten that left foot on the ground. Come back into warrior one. Inhale. Just one breath here. And exhale right into warrior two. Turn that front hand upside down. Reach back into peaceful warrior. And then come into extended right angle warrior three. You can put your hand right on your knee. It's totally fine. And reach over your left ear. You should have one long line of energy from your fingertips all the way down to the outside of the back foot. Just like an electrical cord running straight through. Feel that energy. And from here, I want you to come back using your core muscles and your upper torso. Lift your body back. Come back into peaceful warrior. A breath here. And flow right back into warrior three. And one more time, inhale all the way up. I know your front leg is burning. Straighten it if you need to. It's totally fine. And cartwheel all the way down. Into plank. Lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Beautiful, guys. Left foot comes up. Inhale. On the exhale, bring the left foot between the hands. Flatten that back foot to the mat and inhale all the way up to the sky, warrior one. Just one deep breath here, but really get that stretch 1 inch deeper and open up to warrior two. From here, flip the hand over and reach back into peaceful warrior. And then come forward into warrior three. Elbow to knee, reaching out over the right and left. Feel that long line of energy on the right side. All the way from the right fingertips, down your arm, down your torso, all the way down the side of your right leg to your foot. And then using your abdominal muscles, lift yourself up back into peaceful warrior. Back into warrior three. Know your left leg is burning again. Straighten it if you need to. And then come back into it if you can. Back into warrior, peaceful warrior, cartwheel all the way down. This plank. Down into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Take a few breaths here. Little active recovery. As I said, this is a pose, it is an asana. However, it's very dynamic when you're moving inside of this stillness. You're pushing the backs of your heels to the ground. You're rounding the shoulders open and away from the ears. You're pushing through the base of all four fingertips to keep those fingers from rolling open. You're pulling the kneecaps up towards the hips. But also, when you think about your neck and your head, you are just letting that completely relax and just let gravity just do whatever it wants with your head. Very good. And again, roll over to the left side. Use any of the modifications that I gave you earlier to stagger your feet or put your left leg on the ground. Lifting up into side plank. From here, I want you to take your right foot, just put it to the outside of your left foot, and just reach back over your head, almost into a side back bend. Keeping your chest as open as you can. Beautiful, and then roll over all the way to the left, to the right side. Side plank on the right, lifting the right hip as high as you can so that it's pushing up your left hip. Pushing out through don't collapse in here in your shoulder. I don't want to see your shoulder coming up anywhere near your ear. Pushing out through the base of your right hand to push that arm away from your shoulder blade. Squeeze your butt, and then place your left foot to the outside and reach over. This should feel like an incredible stretch in whichever modification you're doing it in. And come around back to center. Plank position, slowly lower into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, and exhale, down dog. Beautiful, guys. Take a few breaths here. Take a few breaths. I'm just going to see who's here with us today. Angie Barnes, what's up, girl? April. Hi, Campbell Watson. So glad to have you here. Audrey and Heather. Yang Yang, Eduardo, Michelle, yay. So happy to see you guys all here.
Hey, Samantha.
Missed you guys in Miami. We had such a good time. Just rule. Don't ever miss a Titan event. It's just never a good idea. Never a good idea. I almost didn't go to this one. And at the last minute, I decided, you guys are still in down dog, by the way. At the last minute, I decided that I couldn't miss it, and I am so glad I was there. Okay, so yes, you're still in down dog. From here, crouch and step jump forward between your hands. Inhale, look up, exhale, forward fold. And on the inhale, slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. All the way to standing. Beautiful, guys. Okay, we're going to do one more sequence here for standing poses. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale. Back into plank. Down into chaturanga. Down and down. Right foot comes up. And the right foot comes between your hands. Inhale up into warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. From here, I want you to just straighten your front leg. Shimmy the back foot in just a few inches so you can get that stability. You still want to be on a flat balance beam, one line of energy between your feet. And I want you to come into triangle pose. From here, lift up through the rib cage, engaging the core, and reach out over the front leg as far as you can until you can't reach out any further, and then you can drop your right foot to the right, your right hand to the right foot, and gaze up to the sky with your left arm going up into triangle pose. This pose is aptly named for obvious reasons. You really want to try to keep as many right angles and straight angles as you can in this pose. This inside of your rib cage really stretching out. I don't want to see you collapsing in this rib cage. So really keep it stretched out over the right leg as far as you can. Lifting up the knees on both sides, pressing the back of your right foot into the back of your left foot into the mat. And then bring the left hand to the mat. Straighten out the left foot a tiny bit so that you can balance here and stretch out over the right foot. Into pyramid pose, also aptly named for obvious reasons. This is a pretty deep stretch. I don't want it to feel painful. Hurting is a little okay. It's actually totally fine. A little bit of hurt, but I don't want you to have any pain. Your body should be warm enough at this point. We're about 30 minutes into the practice to do a really deep stretch like this. And from here, if you can, as much as you can, if you need to bend your knee, it's completely fine. I want your left hand on the outside of your right foot. You come up into twisting triangle. If you can't come up into twisting triangle, you can stay in pyramid pose. It's totally fine. That's a great modification. And if you are in pyramid pose and you want to work towards twisting triangle, just twist over a little bit as far as you can. Start to build that flexibility in the outside of your left rib cage. Start to just build that flexibility there. You can bend your knees, whatever is comfortable. We're just working toward that ability to twist all the way open into twisting triangle. A couple more breaths here. And then bring your right hand to the outside, left hand to the outside. One more deep stretch in pyramid. Deep breaths through the nose. Straighten out that. You might need to pivot the back left foot again so it's perfectly perpendicular to the right. And then open up again into triangle. From here in triangle, I want you to take your left hand, put it behind your back as much as you can, and gaze up to the sky. If you can reach all the way around and grab your right thigh, then do that. But if you can't, just put it behind your back and gaze up to the sky. This is going to give you some idea of the optimal way to do this pose, because when you get into this with your arm wrapped around the left side, you can really feel your shoulder blade pulling back, your back flattening. Imagine that there's a wall behind you. You just want your entire body pressing against the wall. So if you pull this around, you can really feel what that feels like to open up your chest in that way. And from here, cartwheel all the way down. Find that lunge, and then bring your feet together into plank pose and down into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale down. Left foot to the sky. Left foot between the hands. Flatten the back right foot and come up to warrior one. On the exhale, warrior two. And then straighten the front leg. Bring that left arm to the sky and push it out as far as you can towards the front wall. You can't reach out any further, and then drop the left hand to the left foot and raise the right hand to the sky, triangle pose. Be sure to be lifting up through those kneecaps. If you find your legs and your butt are relaxed in this pose, lift the kneecaps as much as you can and engage them. When you do that, it kind of automatically engages your glutes. Take a few breaths here, opening up the shoulder, opening, keeping that chest nice and open, imagining that wall behind your back. And slowly bring the right hand to the outside of the foot. Bring the right foot in just a tiny bit to keep your balance. And come back into pyramid pose. If you have the flexibility, then when you're in this pose, try your best not to round over the knee. Again, this is just literally lifting out through that rib cage and trying to fold your body on top of your left leg. It's not so much about rounding over it as it is about coming out this way, keeping your chest open. Lifting up to the kneecaps, and from here, place your right hand to the outside of your left foot and come up to twisting triangle. Again, if you can't come into twisting triangle, then from whatever version of pyramid pose you're in, just reach it around to the side and start to feel that stretch on the left side instead of straight forward. And if you are in full twist triangle, then really try to pull this left shoulder back and down, opening up your chest as much as you can to the left side of the room. Very good. And then untwisting, coming back into a couple more breaths in pyramid. When our bodies are warm from yoga, it's just the best time to take advantage of that heat inside your body to stretch it at that point. Like, you know how a rubber band gets sustained pyramid pose for here for a moment. A rubber band gets frail and brittle when it's cold or it's been sitting around for a long time. But when it's fresh and it's warm, you can stretch that rubber band as much as you can and as much as you want, and it'll move around. That's kind of the same way with your muscles. Warming up your muscles in yoga with the sun salutations and the flows that we do, come back into triangle pose. Get your body into a position where it's so right for stretching. And so I really like to take advantage of that time when your bodies are warm. Bring your hand around. If you can grab the inner left part of your thigh, grab it. If not, just pull your chest open and feel that opening in your chest. And cartwheel all the way down, back into plank. Chaturanga, inhale. And exhale into down dog. Okay, from here, we're going to jump between our hands all the way into a seated position. Beautiful, guys. I'm going to do some floor stuff now. Hug your knees in nice and tight. Give yourself a hug. You deserve it. You do deserve it. We all deserve a hug. Let's get a hug. Sometimes there's nobody around to hug us, so we have to hug ourselves. And I don't mean that in a dirty way. I really mean that. Just a hug. Okay, from here, I want you to lift your feet up into a boat pose. If you can't lift up to a boat pose, I just want you to come into your knees at a right angle here. And just try to stretch out here. This is engaging your core, reaching out in front of you, long line of energy out through your fingertips, but really focusing on engaging your core. Squeeze your butt to hold it all up. Your glutes are actually part of your core. Anything that connects your lower body to your upper body is technically considered core. So when you're working your core, be sure to engage those glutes. If you can, straighten your legs into a full boat pose. Take a couple breaths here and roll down all the way to the floor. Arms over your head. And we're going to slowly come up into another boat pose engaging our core muscles. So inhale all the way up
And straighten your legs if you can. Take a few breaths here. Again, bent is fine, straight is fine. Couple breaths here, inhale. And hug your knees in again. Then I want you to slowly roll back. I'm going to do some bicycles. So hands in a basket behind your head. I want you to extend your legs in front of you. I want you to lower them down as far as you can until the lower back feels like it's just going to peel off the ground. Your lower back must be stuck to the mat. If you find your lower back coming up, I want you to raise your feet until you can keep it stuck to the mat. So at that place, hands in a basket over your head, I want you to come into some bicycles. Slow ones. It's not a strength class. We're going to move nice and slowly, very thoughtfully through these bicycles. On each one, I want you to really try to connect the elbow with the knee. Keep moving at your own pace. Try to get a little bit higher on each bicycle that you do. And just make sure that lower back is hitting the ground. That's the most important thing. Also, another common mistake is tucking your chin into your chest. You don't want that. We want you looking up to the sky, chest open. About 10 more seconds of these. I know it's starting to burn. A lot of people have back problems. We sit in our desks all day long. People are often asking, what do I do about my back? And I would say most of the time the answer is strengthen your core. That's the number one thing. Strengthen your core and start to do some yoga. Moving your back, getting your spine in better shape. Good, and relax. Bring your knees in and make some circles. Very good, you guys. And rock a few times until you can rock yourself all the way up into sitting. Okay, very good. So from here, I want you to come into a half lotus position. Whatever version of this you can do. If it's just a crisscross applesauce, a normal crisscross applesauce, that's totally fine. I'm gonna face you. Normal crisscross applesauce is completely fine. If you can, take your left foot and put it on top of your right thigh. Arms extend all the way up. And grab again, just like we started the class, grab that left wrist and pull it over to the side. Looking up to the sky, keeping that chest nice and open. No rounding this way, keeping that shoulder nice and back. And then come back to neutral. From here, I want you to take this, whatever leg was on top, I want you to push it to the outside of your leg, that you can come into this twist. So from here, if your left leg is on top of your right, you've got your left leg here, take your right arm and attach your shoulder, your elbow to your knee and twist to the left. And make sure you get the rights and the lefts correct on this one because sometimes it's almost the same, even if you're doing it wrong. Twist that spine, wring it out. Great, and slowly let go of that. Come back into a neutral position and switch sides. Your right foot goes on top of your left this time. Arms inhale all the way over your head. Grab the right hand and pull your body to the left. Opening up the chest, reaching out to the left side of your body. We've got a lot of really beautiful stretches all the way down our sides today. So if you're not used to doing yoga, you may be feeling that a little bit tomorrow. But don't worry, that's totally fine and totally normal. Come back up to neutral. And from here, lower your arms and take that, whatever leg is on top, and move it to the outside of the knee. And if you have your right knee here, take your left elbow and a twist to the back. Because of the nature of yoga, you're using your entire body. you work your major muscle groups, but you also work every single accessory muscle in your body. All those little tiny ones that often get ignored if we're used to doing like gym workouts. That's why I always tell people to combine yoga with any other fitness activity that they're doing, because yoga will get deeper and will get everything that they're missing. And so because of that, you'll often feel strange sorenesses if you're new to yoga. Like you're like, wow, I feel sore, but like deep in my butt. You can't understand it, but that's why. It's because you're working all your minor accessory muscles. One last inhale on this twist. And let it go. Then extend your feet out in front of you. I want to just do one more forward fold bend because this is a really nice stretch to do at the end of class. Inhale, arms all the way up. And exhale, forward fold. Again, not rounding over your legs, but stretching out as far forward as you can, like we did in triangle pose, and then lowering your body into forward fold. So as far as you can get, even if you can only touch your knees, I don't want you to just round over your knees. I want you to lift up through the rib cage, up, and then out, and then try to touch wherever you can touch, but keep that rounding. You will feel it down the backs of your legs no matter what. I just want you to always be getting in the habit of lifting up and out and not just rounding over, because this is not a stretch. This is not the way we want to stretch this. You want to lift up, out, and forward. And from here, if you can, push your feet down, get that stretch in the tops of your feet, and then pull your feet back. A little extra stretch in the Achilles heel and down to the backs of the calves. From here, just slowly roll back. Let your legs come in if you need to. We're going to do one more spinal twist. I love this one. Just interlock your right foot behind your knee and pull your right knee over. And look over your right shoulder. You may get a couple back cracks in this one. And slowly come to neutral position. And switch sides. Hook the back of the left toes. And reach over and look over your left shoulder. If you can, use your hand to coach yourself into a little bit of a deeper stretch, like pull it out. And back onto your backs. And come into Shavasana. See, I told you in 45 minutes you'd find yourself in a beautiful Shavasana that you've earned, and look at it, here you are. So in Shavasana, just lie down on the ground, let your feet flop open, let your head and neck relax. It's nice to pick up your head and kind of move it back about a half an inch, and then gently place it back on the mat. And then just let your hands flop open. Close your eyes. And enjoy the feeling of gravity pulling you into the ground. If you focus your attention on the gravity, you'll really start to feel it. It feels quite good, like a weighted blanket, but underneath you instead of on top. Let your lips just part and let your tongue come off the roof of your mouth so that your whole jaw is relaxed.